Thanksgiving, guys. I hope you guys have a happy, safe holiday ahead of you.
And you also,
You
man.
too, Teddy.
That's
Happy
right.
Thanksgiving,
Thanks.
man.
This is
So-
always a great time of the year, man.
Yeah. Well, holiday markets, I think, is what most people can expect for the currencies today and probably even on Friday.
Yes.
I do like your last segment, by the way, on the put spreads and stuff like that. I was having a conversation about how with this rally right now, what's going on. And I told some people already that have, especially like Tesla and some other things, it's hard to put option plays on those stocks because they're so expensive, especially the option pricing.
Sure.
But I think that your vertical put spreads, especially selling credit spreads above the market and especially married puts and stuff like that, I think that's going to be a growing momentum thing that's going to impact the market for sure over the next 2 months. So, and it does tie into the currencies actually, because I was looking at like how the CRB is moving. Heating oil is exploding. Oil had obviously a nice move the other day. Gold is kind of sagging, so that's the one weakness that is a little bit questionable, and I don't understand really why there's such a sell-off right now. But the dollar index is holding. We didn't take out the low from August yet. We've been hovering above it, and the most of the lesser currencies are the ones that are stronger against the dollar right now. The pound failed to make a higher move high over the past 2 days, but the euro barely made one today, by a few pips. It's not really holding it. So I think that you're seeing that holiday trade for one,
Yes.
and dollar consolidation. I don't think the dollar bears have a chance of really hitting the dollar any harder than it's been.
I think they
one
were
of the-
I think they were waiting for you to come on, Teddy. As you've been on, the dollar just went down 100 ticks.
Of course, absolutely. So, but you look at like the U.S. dollar yen relationship.
Yeah.
So, especially where the market structure, where the equity markets are at right now. I mean, for election and COVID aside, let's look at the fundamentals where we're at right now. As far as on a cost basis for a lot of materials and a lot of the things that keep like the Japanese engine going, it doesn't bode well for a U.S. dollar yen to continue to sag. So there, right there, I think it is truly basing, because your biggest volatility you have now in the yen is to the upside, not the downside. So that tells me that between the interest rate equation, the bonds, their upticking today is kind of a precursor. I think that we're going to see December be a buying bond run. Okay.
Yeah,
so if
no,
there's
this is interesting, Teddy, because even yesterday when the market was up so dramatic, I couldn't believe the 10 was only down one tick. It was like, really?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and see, you get like you watch a ticker like I do. You see those things on how you can see the little nuances like you were just talking about market mechanisms. There's a difference between just trading fundamentally and technically, and also understanding how the market mechanism works.
Right.
And I think that's what we're going to see over the next couple of weeks is that you're going to see a flurry of bond buying, especially coming in by like the Japanese and stuff. Now, at the counterpoint, I think what they're going to do is start to sell into our rally in our stock market.
Okay.
So, and the reason being is that, the pension funds in Japan are based off of our stock market for one, and when you consider the volatility we've had and where the currency relationship is, and especially where the interest rates are, I could see that you're going to start to see an unloading of profit taking going on globally, not necessarily from U.S. investors. This is from the foreign investors, So the Biden transition, however that goes, I think is irrelevant, but I think you're going to see a bond rally because they're going to go into bonds short term. So that's going to put the bonds, especially as we don't know how these lockdowns where it's going to be with us in 2 months. You mentioned Illinois with the unemployment. Well, they also came out today in Illinois. Over 12,000 businesses have shuttered since March, and they're shuttered, gone, done. They're not coming back.
Yeah.
So, and they're expecting another 5,000 to close before the first of the year. That's in the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
That's insane. So I mean, if you have that kind of an exodus from a major city like that, and I can't speak for what goes on in New York and LA except for what I hear from people, but I live in this area.
Exactly.
And it's a powerhouse engine for this country. So if you have all this business leaving, I mean, think about the tax revenue that will not be coming out of Illinois anymore for the federal government. These numbers are huge, and it's going to hit things very quickly, I think, next year. So I think you're going to see a run-up in bonds, but the dollar is showing that it can't get beaten up very much more. So, I mean, it's good for us. I mean, in a sagging economy and a potential thing like what we have ahead of us, a weak dollar would be good for us, So, but I think you're going to probably see a dollar rally start to emerge short term over the next couple of weeks after the bonds rally first.
Yeah, this this unemployment and business shutting is a big deal. Because what happens in Chicago, too, folks, I mean, you can go back to the cattle days. Chicago is a dynamic, it's in the middle of the country, and there's people that come in from everywhere to Chicago. You've seen it, Teddy, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like when you guys, you're not in the city now anymore. Everyone's out of the city. Then, so no one's coming in and visiting. They have this huge, it's a very early city. Everyone's in early. So
O'Hare finally did a little over 1 million people 2 days ago, which is like still down 30%. O'Hare usually has 3.5 to 4 million people travel through it a day, and they finally broke the 1 million people mark, and that's because we have the holidays coming up.
Right.
That's the only real reason. Verizon, I just found out Verizon did a midnight move. You know how everyone's working from home?
Yes.
Out in Schaumburg, which is a big suburb of Chicago, where they have a lot of corporate area, interests and stuff. Verizon and a couple other companies did a midnight move. They're gone. They left. They shuttered and they're gone.
Tense.
Yeah. So.
Well, listen,
not good
man,
for the restaurant.
You have a great Thanksgiving, safe one. We look forward to speaking to you next Wednesday, Teddy.
Yep, the marks will be swinging again next week after the holiday.
They'll be swinging. And folks, you can reach Teddy every trading day at forex-trading-unlock.com. Stay right there, folks. Tommy and I are coming right back.